guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you stopped by today because today we are finally going to be doing another Pokemon video. I know it's been a very long time since we've done a Pokemon, but I recently got commissioned to do one that I have not done before and I figured I'd share it with you guys as well. So today we are going to be making a Pikachu. Now I'm not going to be going full on realistic like the new movie that's coming out, so I'm not going to be doing that style. The commissioner wanted it to be more of a cartoon style, so we're going to go with more of the classic Pikachu style. So let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to work on is going to be the sewing to make Pikachu's body. So right here I have a pattern already drawn and cut out, and we're going to use this to make our fabric pieces. As you can see, it already kind of looks like Pikachu, but I did keep everything very simple. The hardest part I had with designing this pattern was making it to where Pikachu's body would be the right shape, because I didn't want him to be super plump like the 1991 version. I wanted it to be more of like a 2010 version where it's kind of a bit more trim. And then we have three other pieces to our pattern, and that's the belly piece, the ear piece, and the piece for the bottom of the foot. I'm doing the bottom of the foot, that way it's kind of got a flat point so it'll stand a little bit better. So I'm going to use all of these pieces, cut out my fabric, and show you how to put the body together. So the first thing I'm going to work on is going to be the tail. I figured this would be kind of the easiest point to start on. So the tail comes in two colors. The base of it is a brown, and then the top of it is going to be a yellow. And what you're going to do first is you're going to sew the brown and the yellow together to make one side for each side of the tail. After that, we're going to take the left and right of the tail and we're going to sandwich them together with the fur on the inside, and then we're going to sew around this. Now remember, the base of the tail is really thin, so it's probably going to be impossible to flip this right side out if you sew all the way around it, so we're probably going to stop roughly about middle way. So roughly where the yellow starts getting a little bit thinner, we're going to stop sewing now, and then we're going to flip it right side out, and then we can continue sewing the rest of it closed. And then of course we're going to have to stuff this and add a wire to it later, but right now we're going to work on the body pieces. So I have the left and right of the body pieces right here, and we're going to start sewing the pattern pieces to it. So the little brown spots that are going to be on the back, we're going to sew those in place, and we're also going to sew the arms in place. After that, we're going to take the pieces for the bottom of the feet and we're going to start sewing those in place. Now we can take the inside parts of the legs and arms and we can start sewing them onto the arms and legs that are on the sides of the body. So for the legs, we're going to take the inside part of them and we're going to sew them to the base of the foot on the other side of it. And then we can sew around it and close the rest of it off. And then for the arms, we're just going to take those patterns and we're going to sew all the way around. Now we just need to take our belly piece and we're going to sew the left and right of the body pieces to the belly piece. So we're putting everything together now. So your body should look something similar to this. Now we're going to move on to making the ears. Now each ear has a left and right to it, and each left and right has a black tip that we need to sew onto it first. So we're going to do that, and then we can take our left and right piece and we can sandwich them together. Make sure the fur is on the inside, and then you're just going to sew all the way around it. Make sure to leave the base of the ear open so you can flip it right side out and stuff it. Okay, so these are all the fabric pieces that we have, so what we need to do now is probably start on the clay pieces, because we really can't put anything together until we have the face ready. Okay, so the face, this is the part where everything really matters, getting everything correct, because Pikachu's face is very iconic, and if you have it slightly off, it's gonna look weird. So with this, I took my time quite a bit to try and get the proportion and everything as close to it as possible. Also, it's pretty hard to turn something two-dimensional into something that's three-dimensional and have it look exactly the same. So the first thing that I did to start on Pikachu's face was I started by making a large lump of tinfoil for the base of it. And then I took my clay and I started covering everything up. So the main thing that you want to focus on while you're covering up your tinfoil with your clay is getting the right size and shape to match the body that we made. So you want everything to be proportional. So we're going to get everything completely covered, we're going to smooth it out, and then we can start adding the details to it. The first detail I'm probably going to add is just shaping where the nose is going to be. We'll add the nose probably later. I just want to get the little mound of clay built there so I know where it's going to go. Now remember, we're going to go with a more cartoon style, so we're going to go with some really big round eyes for the face. So I've rolled out some really big balls of clay and we're going to push them into the face where we think the eyes should go. We're going to make sure they're positioned correctly and then we're going to start blending them into the face. After that, I'm going to outline where the mouth is going to go. So I'm going to take a strip of clay and we're going to lay it across the snout and then just blend it in. Then we can add the nose to the piece. So for this, it's really simple. We're not going to add nostrils or anything to it because it is going to be cartoon style. So we're just going to add a little upside down triangle and then we're going to blend it into the snout. And then I decided that I wanted the little cheek marks, the little red circles on the cheeks, to be clay. So I'm going to put some balls of clay right on the cheeks. I'm going to push them in and we're going to outline them and straighten them up. So we're kind of doing the same thing that we did with the eyes, except the edges I'm going to leave a little bit sharper, and with the eyes we kind of rounded them off a bit more. Now this is all the detail that I'm going to be adding to the face right now because we are going to fur the face afterwards. So we're going to take our clay face and we're going to bake it for roughly about 45 minutes at 275 Fahrenheit. Now we are going to be doing a little bit of clay work for the feet and hands, but these are just going to be kind of little clay inserts for the hands and feet. That way there's something to kind of grab onto other than the wire so you can start bending the body and posing it. I just felt having clay inserts would make it a little bit easier to pose and to stand up. So right here I have some wires that are part of the wire frame, and these are going to be for the arms and legs. And we're just going to take a little lump of clay and we're going to put it at the end of each wire. So I'm going to take these as well and we're going to bake them at 275 Fahrenheit for probably about 45 minutes. So we're going to get all of our clay pieces baked and cooled and then we can start on the face. We're not going to paint the inserts because you're not going to see them. Okay, so the face is done baking, it's cooled to touch, and we can start on the painting of it. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be primering the face with a nice yellow. So we're going to go over it and make sure it's nice and primered with yellow, and we're going to get that to dry, and then we can start on the details. The main reason that I'm primering with yellow is because when we fur the face, I don't want any of the white clay to peek through the fur. This way, if any of the fur layering is a little bit thin, all you'll see is more yellow and it'll blend together a lot better. After our yellow primer is done, we're going to start on the eyes. Now you would think that I would start with a black for the eyes, but I'm actually going to be starting with a brown. So I'm going to go over both eyes with a brown, make sure that's dried, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start adding black to the very middle of it and blending it into the brown. That way you have the edge of the eye brown and it fades to the black pupil. And then the nose is really simple, we're just going to be painting that black as well. And then after the eyes have dried again, we're going to add some white highlights to it. So we're just adding 2 large little circles of white and then 2 little small ones next to those. And then lastly, we're going to go over the little circle markings for our cheeks with a nice red. This you'll probably have to go over a few times to make sure you get a nice vibrant red. So I'm going to let all my paint dry and then I'm going to go over the detailed portions with some resin. So I'm just going to mix up a small portion and paint over the eyes, nose, and cheeks. This is going to have to dry overnight, so we're going to have to wait until the next day to start putting everything together. Okay, it's the following day and we're going to start putting our Pikachu together. So I've got the little wire frame all put together and we're going to start putting all the fabric pieces on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide that tail over the wire for the tail. Then I'm going to take the fabric body and I'm going to run those clay inserts into the legs and arms. For each clay insert I am adding a little bit of glue to it so it kind of holds into place. And now we're going to take our clay head and we're going to glue this to the end of the wire for the neck. Once we have the head dried into place, we're going to add the ears to the fabric body. So the little portions on the sides of the face, I've cut little slits, and I'm going to sew those ears into place onto the body. Then I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to start gluing the fabric around the base of the head. We're going to let that dry and then we're going to stuff the rest of the body and close up the back of it. after we have Pikachu stuffed and closed up, we are going to be giving him a haircut. So I have my hair trimmer, and I'm just going to go over the whole body with it and just kind of get the hair shorter so he's not so shaggy. Okay, before we start furring Pikachu's face, I am going to point out that I'm very much aware of how creepy he looks right now, to the point that I decided to take some really creepy Pikachu pictures for you guys. So I'm going to post a few of those and let you enjoy, and hopefully no one has any nightmares. Okay, now that that has been said, I'm going to start furring his face. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to apply it in thin little areas on the face, and I'm going to start pushing my fur trimmings into the glue. I'm going to use my tools to kind of straighten it up and make sure that it's nice and even, and I'm going to keep doing this on all the different spots of his face until everything is covered. And then once you have everything completely covered in fur, you're just going to let this dry. You'll want to check to make sure everything's stuck, so you might have to fix a few spots if the fur didn't stick to the glue. But after that, your Pikachu should be all finished. Okay guys, and that's how I did a Pikachu. I had so much fun and I can't wait to mail him off to his new owner. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!